Emmanuel Macron needs this to go through. His entire economic strategy rests on this because, first of all, the cyclical economic recovery that France is experiencing now, essentially 2 or 3 years behind the rest of the world, will be snuffed out immediately if it doesn't go through. The confidence which is shown, among business executives at the moment will be killed. And secondly, the other leg of Macron's strategy is to restore confidence at the European level in France's ability to manage its economy, and therefore change the wider economics of the Eurozone. And that also requires this reform to go through.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree in saying that I don't think it's a major and innovative reform, and I think it's a reform that stems from an ideology that was thriving in the 80s. Maybe it's not what Thatcher did, but it's inspired on neoliberalism, on what Thatcher did, on what Schröder did, on what Blair did afterwards, and it's much later now. And I think that it's in a way, I think this reform is already outdated because, again, the progressive reforms of today are reforms that take into account new kinds of diseases that result from work. For instance, burnouts, which are exploding, and when we do not have the tools today to face them and to allow people to be protected when they're faced with one. For instance, how do you take into account new kinds of pénibilité? I don't have the word, of like hardship of some professions compared to others. And the government actually went back on some of the progressive reforms that were taken. How do you today face automation? And I think that's impossible to do it without reducing working time. And I know it's a big debate, but it's a debate that Europe, like France and Europe, have to take and have to take on.